I think having a really great reputation as an RTO helps with finding facilities and organisations that we can find placements with. It doesn't always suit the organisation service provider, but we can always work around and help them and discover, ways of accessing, some support for our students.
It was fantastic actually. I looked at a lot of various vocational education. What STEPS offered was above all the others. Just the environment alone that you're in, like they've got the campus on site, the nursery, the car detailing, so all of those different avenues. Coming in as a student and meeting other students as well with a disability was unique, but they were one of the only vocational, I'm trying to think what the word is, the trainers that offered face-to-face practical classes as well as online at your own pace. So that was what drew me to STEPS, that they had the 3 modes.
It just happened really. My supervisor recommended me for a position at day service, and Stephen came down and had the paperwork and asked me if I wanted to work for Big Dog, and I was really happy to do that.
So if you're doing a really good job and you're passionate about doing this role, and you're open to, in that student placement hours, learning and taking on feedback as well, you should hit the ground running and transition into support role. It's around just being open. So if you're open to doing this role and coming on board and learning about all the different disabilities, open to supporting somebody from beginning to end and what that disability might look like, then this is your calling, and you will definitely get a position. If you're not open to doing different tasks, it's sort of, you're going to minimise the amount of hours that you might potentially be able to work.
I did. I was actually employed just after I finished placement. So they were already talking to me about jobs and rosters before I had finished placement. So that was a thrill because I loved working there.
Yeah, I usually, on average, am getting about a 70% employment rate, and that's because the service providers and the organisations that we are delivering students to are willing and ready to accept them as employees, and it's a nice symbiotic relationship.
So for organisations where we have a regular contact, and most of the organisations we deal with, we do have regular contact, some of them we've actually been able to integrate components. If it's a direct recruitment program, we've been able to integrate components of their induction into our training. So for instance, manual handling, for instance, we've been able to replicate how they deliver manual handling during our manual handling that we're delivering as part of the components of the theory, which will actually streamline their induction. So instead of spending a day during their normal induction period for someone who hasn't come through our college, that's a day that they know that we've already taken care of, because we've learned to deliver it not just within compliance standards but within their requirements. So it's quite an integrated approach. The way we handle things is quite different to most RTOs.
Yes.
In reality.
Great results too.
I think the only other thing is that our team genuinely believes we have a duty of care, not just to students, but to the service providers, but to the individual clients. The reality is that while this is an industry that's massively in demand for great workers, we want our students to turn into great workers, and because of that, employers trust us, and because of that, 90-95% of our students are within a job within 2 weeks of completing placement. And during COVID, when they contacted us and said, well, obviously we can't take students at the moment, it's high risk, they were prepared to simply interview our students and offer employment, because they knew that after the 120 hours they were going to offer employment to 90% of them anyway, so they were happy to offer employment to our students. So I think there's certain benefits in building that long-term relationship with an organisation, tailoring to their needs, understanding their needs, and approaching this with a sound ethical framework.
So generally at the moment we work with 2 RTOs. We also work with other RTOs that may have a particular program that they're funded to do, so the Get Set for Work type of things, or Skilling Queenslanders or anything like that. We're utilising some of the RTOs that have contracts for cold students, diverse backgrounds and all those sort of things. We incorporate with those. But I particularly like working with an RTO that's taken the time to look at our business. They know what we are and what we do. They're aware of our vision. They're aware of what we're looking at from the human point of view, not just the study point of view. We can have someone who's an excellent student but may be shy in dealing with people on a one-on-one basis. So they really need to come and know our business. They will attend some of our staff meetings. We engage them at least once a quarter to come in and have a talk to our staff during our staff meetings. But clearly it's that relationship with the RTO that'll ring me or come to me. In fact, I had Wade come to me yesterday and said, look, I've got 5 people out of our current group, he said, that I think will match what you're looking for. When can we get together and we can meet them and we can commence an induction if you think they're suitable? That's taken all the work out of my hands.
Yes, yeah. So yes, a number of organisations will agree to take our students on a regular basis, and they like us to preempt and pre-book so that they can plan around their year. Yeah. So obviously, working in the industry too, I'm kept up to date with all these different organisations that are starting. We are involved in community organisations as well, and just getting to know who's doing what and who's good at what specific services is a really integral part of what we do. Yeah, I actually like the guest speaker role. I actually invite a lot of service providers to come in and be a guest speaker, so that each different sort of organisation have a different passion for what they're doing, a different value on certain attributes of care and support that we give to our clients. I think that if the students are exposed to as many different types of service providers in this industry, they get a better idea of where they see themselves and who they see themselves working for. So yes, it's really important to immerse people into the idea of working in this industry rather than just studying about it.
I particularly like working with an RTO that's taken the time to look at our business. They know what we are and what we do. They're aware of our vision. They're aware of what we're looking at from the human point of view, not just the study point of view. We can have someone who's an excellent student but may be shy in dealing with people on a one-on-one basis. So they really need to come and know our business. They will attend some of our staff meetings. We engage them at least once a quarter to come in and have a talk to our staff during our staff meetings. Aurora and Arcadia know our business. We've been in partnership for quite a number of years now. They know us, they know what we can do and how we do it, and that's an important aspect.
So while the students are on placement, I usually do a vocational placement visit, and it's usually at the organisation. So there's a 3-way conversation between the student, myself, and a representative of the NDIS provider, like a director or a team leader or a manager. And I think often you get to learn a little bit about what's happening right now for that organisation and the impacts on clients and the sector widely. So I think that currency is very important. I think the relationship is very important as well. I think that is a really strong benefit there. And I have to say, from my experience, the industry really expects that. They do expect to see someone face to face. They do need to know that they can get on the phone or send an email if they're not sure what to put, or how to go about something that's in the vocational placement logbook, for an example. And I think the students deserve that support. I think that's best practice is actually supporting our students to achieve their best, and one of the ways to do that is to give them that support and validation on their placement.
I think it's about getting to know the employer and really listening to what their needs are and understanding where their pressure points are, understanding every business has pressure points, and trying to understand what that is. And coming at it from the perspective of providing a solution, not just fitting. Some RTOs take the approach of, I have students, I need students trained, I need students finished, so hence, therefore, ergo, here are these students, take them lock, stock and barrel. Whereas we come from the perspective of, here's someone who really wants to make something of their career, here's an organisation that has certain needs and issues and pressure points, and they're trying to match great workers with their clients. So, it's about sort of understanding where their pressure points are so that you can actually offer great advice in terms of your student selection.
Thank you.
So it's not a one size fits all. Usually they are more likely to reach out and to discuss the vocational placement logbooks and what's involved in that. So what we've done is we have a training video that I've recorded for new supervisors, taking them through what the process involves and what the expectations are. And I'll follow that with a phone call once they've watched that. And sometimes when they're filling out the paperwork, they'll reach out to our office for a bit of support.
Various ways. One of the team leaders I've got in an organisation we have a deed in place with, I did my industry release there, and so he was one of the support workers I worked with doing industry release, and he is now come up through the ranks, and he's the one that's supervising the students when they go there. So that is one of those things. Often it is past students. I come across those that are now supervising or team leading, which is wonderful to see. So that lovely relationship that you have in the classroom is expanded. In that sense, I know a lot of the support workers also through industry visits, industry network activities, those type of things. And actually, I go out to things in the community, and you often see them there, and it's a lovely opportunity to say hello.
Yeah, so the beauty of being on the floor with your students occasionally is that you develop nice relationships with the nursing managers and the service providers and the team leaders of the disability organisation. So yeah, you develop that nice symbiotic relationship. If they need something from the student, then it's my place to say, you need to show a little bit more initiative, or possibly you could be doing this differently, or let's review the training and let's go over this, so that next time you're asked to hoist somebody or use that piece of equipment, you're better trained. So I like to be on the floor to facilitate those little things that maybe a supervisor would like from a student, but doesn't have the time to give them specific training about.
One of the things that I get quite excited about is I ask my team to schedule the meetings with the students who are coming back in to sign off their placement while I'm in the office. And I don't do that because that's paperwork, and I'm not very good at that. But I love talking to them and sort of saying what's happening for you, and the different pathways they end up in, and the different roles they end up in. And then now having been in this industry for way too long, it's exciting when you're dealing with an SDM or a manager and you kind of go, hang on, I recruited that person 8 years ago, and they'd come from a mechanics background, or they'd come from working at Woolworths, and they wanted to reinvent their career for whatever reason, and quite often it is that. Or you see these youngsters that are coming through at 18 or 19 and now they're in senior positions in organisations, and that's incredibly rewarding. I know it's exciting for them, but it's heck exciting for us too.